Greetings, everyone. Once again, is Mota Monedi sharing the authentic truth brought to us by Zulula 100, the only teacher. Today, the teaching I will share in English is going to be regarding: are there still apostles? Because in many so-called churches, many people will claim to be apostles, will claim to be messenger, will claim to be prophet, will claim to have some sort of title. And many people will follow, even online, on Facebook and so on, they will write down apostle of, minister of, and so on, or prophet. But we shall see in the scriptures, in the writings, if they are still apostles. What is an apostle? An apostle is a messenger, one who is sent off. The prophet is also a messenger. The term apostle is derived from classical Greek apostolos, meaning one who is sent off, and also to send off, away from. The literal meaning in English is therefore emissary. From the Latin mittere, to send, and from, out of. So, those are the definition regarding the term apostle. And many people will claim to be that, will claim to be messenger of what they will say, the true God. And in the current classic of the Bible, when we go in 1 Corinthians chapter 12, verse 28, it says, and God has placed in the church first of all apostles, second prophets, third teachers, then miracles, then gift of healing, of helping, of guidance, and of different kind of tongues. Period. So, as you can see here in the current classic of the Bible, there's a distinction, and there's many titles, there's many degrees, there's many missions for those who will teach the word, who will basically talk on behalf of, regarding for a mission by the Holy Spirit. Now, so the apostle is not just any type of title. It is a higher place. It's a high place. It's a high title. It's not just given to anyone. So, to be an apostle, you have to have a high spiritual initiation, a high degree of initiation, of knowledge, of understanding. Now, this is in the verse I have taken. It's in the current classic of the Bible. We shall now go in Bibèl, Kalatambale, the book of the truth, the only authentic Bible without any errors or contradiction. For that, we shall go in Esombe, who is known in the current classic of the Bible as Paul, chapter 22, verse 24. And I shall translate here for us. It says, the verb of loba established first the apostles in this era in the assembly of the initiated, ebasi, the church. So, comma. Here you're told in Bibèl, Karatambale, the book of the truth, in the true scriptures, that Esombe says, Esombe, who was an apostle himself, he says that the verb of loba, and loba is the only and unique creator. So his verb, established. So, it's not man, it's not people, it's not an apostle, it's not self-proclaimed. It's not one person that wakes up one day and decide, yes, I'm going to be an apostle today. Is going to write down on his Facebook profile, apostle. No, that's not how he works. It's not one day you wake up, you say, no, I'm a minister, I'm a prophet, I had a vision, and so on. No, that's not how it happens. The verb of loba established first the apostles in this era. So that's the era of Esombe. And that was after the Christ, the true Christ, Jokisabe, already left the visible. So in that era, during the spiritual reign of the apostles, it says the verb of loba established first the apostle in this era. So that era, that's the past. In the assembly of the initiated, ebasi, the church. That's the true church. That's ebasi. So it's not your church. It's not your so-called assemblies out there. That's the first. Secondly, prophets in this era. So the era of Esombe. Thirdly, doctors of the law, comma, then those known who have the gift of miracles, comma, then those known who have the gift to heal, comma, to help, comma, to govern spiritually and to speak various languages of men. Period. So that's the order regarding the hierarchy, if we can say it like that, of the titles. And that was in the era of Esombe. So, where are you out there? Who do you think you are to then claim to be, no, I'm an apostle? Esombe doesn't mention you here. He doesn't speak about you. He's talking about his era. So, all the believers in the world out there, the so-called Christians, those who have accepted the current classic day Bible, full of mistakes, contradictions, lies, errors, falsification of history, all of you who have accepted the lie, you cannot claim to be in the truth. You cannot claim to be an apostle. You cannot claim to be a messenger, because you are in the false doctrine. You are in the anti-truth. There's only one path, one messenger, one that was mandated by Loba, and is Zula 100. Even if when you go in the so-called churches, in your own understanding, you will think that your so-called pastor has and is anointed, that he speaks well, that he knows how to talk, how to use the verses, how to recite, how to make you feel emotion, how to make you cry, how to make you believe. All that is all in your head. It's all sensation, it's all feelings, emotions. It's all false. It's all a show. It's not based on the truth. Even when people out there, when you pray, all those who are not in the truth, when you pray in your so-called church, you pray you saw the fake Jesus, your prayers are not taken, are not received, because you are in the lie. You're worshiping a false God. You are in the false doctrine. Your pastor is fake. He's a liar. He's self-proclaimed. He doesn't know the truth. You can see in the world there are so many religions. There are so many churches, even regarding the Christians. Many will claim that they is one of the most populated religions. Is one of the religions that has a lot of people, right? And there's churches in many regions, and they will all claim to be praying the same God. But you see the state of the world. You see the state of many places where those so-called religions are prevalent. There's still disorder in the world. That means your prayer, when you pray for peace, when you pray for health, when you pray for security, all that, it's not received. Because you're praying a false God that doesn't have the power to save you. You're praying an invented personage. You're believing in a lie. You have accepted the false doctrine. The Bible that have contradictions, errors, mistakes. And when we present you the mistakes, when we show you the mistake, you decide to continue in those mistakes. You decide to blindly follow, to continue to persist. Because you don't like the truth. All those so-called pastors, you out there who go in church, if your pastor claims to be an apostle, tell him he's lying. He's a liar. So, now, we shall see. When we go in regarding will there still be apostle, that's what Enseignant has written. And here, because he has prophesied, he had wrote regarding what would happen, and also regarding his era. And when we go in Enseignant 16, and we're going to go from verse 1 to verse 9, it's regarding the title itself is, will there still be apostles? Question mark. It says in Enseignant chapter 16 verse 1, thus, let us be regarded as messengers of Jokisabe, and dispensers of the mysteries of the liberating word of the verb of loba. Period. Verse 2, of the rest, what is required of dispensers is that each one be found faithful. Period. For me, in verse 3, it matters very little to me to be judged by the uninitiated, white and mixed bloods. Period. Verse 4, I don't judge myself either, because I don't feel guilty about anything. Period. But that's not why I'm justified. Period. Verse 5, therefore, judge of nothing of spiritual things before the time, as long as you aren't yet initiates. Until the Nulonde Baba, the second, comes. The new Londe Baba, the second, who will bring to light what is hidden in darknesses, and who will manifest the purposes of the hearts. period. Then everyone will receive from the verb of loba the praise that is due to him. And who is the second? Who is the nous l'ondé papa? That's the messenger of our time, the only teacher, Zula 100. Verse 6, it is because of you, comma, brothers and sisters, comma. So the brothers and sisters, those who are in the true faith, Isombe was speaking to them, writing to them, that I have made of these things an application to my person, comma, so that you may learn in my person not to go beyond what is written, comma, and let none of you conceive pride in favor of one against another, period. For what distinguishes you, question mark, what have you that you haven't received, question mark, and if you've received it, comma, wouldn't you yelp, comma, as if you had not received it, question mark. Verse 8, you are already satiated, comma, you are already rich, comma, with me and the other apostles. You have begun to reign. Verse 9, for after me, so after Esombe, after the apostle, for after me, and as well as the others chosen by Jokisabe, and Jokisabe is the true Christ. So he says in verse 9, for after me, and as well as the others chosen by Jokisabe in his former time, comma, because Jokisabe already left the visible and he had chosen the apostle when he was alive regarding in the visible. And also some were chosen later on spiritually. And some who were designated by the Mundi, and some who were designated by the Mundi, so that's the Spirit, in our present time, comma, in our present time. So let's go step by step and see. What does the scriptures teaches us? For, in verse 9, after me. So after him, Esombe, as well as the others chosen by Jokisabe, so those that have directly been chosen by the true Christ in his former time, I mean previously, those that were chosen before Esombe, when Jokisabe, the true Christ, was in the visible, and some who were designated by the Mundi in our present time, comma, because at this time when Esombe was alive, some people were also chosen, were also designated as apostles, comma, there will be no more apostles after us, comma. So Esombe gives the revelation that after him and those that have been chosen by Jokisabe, the true Christ, and those that have been designated by the Mundi, the Spirit, the Holy Spirit, in his time, in the time of Esombe, that means in the past when Esombe was alive, there will be no more apostles after us. So, that means during the time of Esombe, there were apostles. But after them, you're told here, there will be no more apostles after us, comma, except those known those known. Who are those known? Those who are known by the great order of things. Those known are those who are in the truth, who are not worshiping false gods, who are not worshiping that so-called Jesus, who are not worshiping the fake gods of the Westerners, of whites and mixed bloods. No, those known, whom nous l'on débaba, the second. And the second, we are in the time of the second. We are in the era of the second. Whom nous l'on débaba, the second, will want to name, comma, period. So, that means, except, meaning after the time of Esombe and the apostles, during their time, during their reign, after them, there won't be any apostles. So the so-called Christians out there, you're not concerned. The title of apostle is, you're not an apostle. It doesn't concern you. You're not in the truth. You're trying to claim a title that surpass everything you can comprehend. The spiritual power of the apostles is beyond what the so-called Christians have, because they don't even have power, spiritual power. They're in the lie, in the confusion. They were seduced. And after us, he says here, except those known whom nous l'on débaba, the second, will want to name. So that means if Zula 100 doesn't name you, doesn't give you the title, doesn't appoint you, doesn't designate you, doesn't give you that title, you cannot claim to be an apostle. You're a liar. You're a cheater. You are an usurper. Because after the time of Esombe and the apostles of Jokisabe, after that era, there won't be any. And the one who can give the title of apostle is Zulula 100. Is the messenger of our time. He says here, because he has the power and the right to rehabilitate the function of apostle in his time. Period. So you cannot go beyond that. You cannot try to enter into the prophecy. No. It doesn't work. It doesn't work like that. He has the power and the right to rehabilitate the function of apostle in his time. So you out there who claim to be apostle, who gave you that title? Was it the second? Was it Zulula 100? If it is not, you are in a delusion. You can agree with the message. You can like the message. That's good. You can disagree with the message. That won't change anything. It is the truth we are sharing. Because we know the scriptures talk regarding the false teacher that will come and seduce and teach lies and falsify. Preach the false doctrine to people. Indoctrinate and keep people in captivity by their lies. So, now, when we go in Dale, who's known in the current class of the Bible as Peter, chapter 1, verse 125. The title is The False Teacher, False Teachers. He says this. So we're going to read 125 and 126 and also 127. It says, "They have been false prophets among the people, comma. And there will be likewise among you white and mixed blood, comma, who will introduce pernicious sects, comma, and who, comma, denying the muledi, master, comma, will attract upon themselves sudden ruin." Verse 126. "Many uninitiated will follow them in their dissolution, comma, and the way of the truth will be slandered because of them." Period. Verse 127. "By greed, comma, they will traffic of you by means of deceitful words, comma, them that threatened since long ago condemnation, comma, and whose ruin does not slumber." So there are no pastors, no prophets. There are only one teacher, Zula 100, the only messenger of our time, of our era. Other than that, all those who will claim to have any sort of title, who claim to know the truth, who claim to be some sort of spiritual guides or whatever, you are in confusion. There are no apostles. The one who can give the title of apostle is Zula 100. He is the one who can rehabilitate that function. There are no anointed bishop, messenger, whatever they say, whatever they claim, the so-called pastors in the so-called church. Because when many people are gonna go there, they're gonna have music. You're gonna have a sort of an ambience, songs. People will feel in some sort of trance. They'll think, oh, they're believing. All that is sensations, feelings. It's just all in your heads. It's all sensations, fakeness, lies, confusion. So, are there still apostles? Question mark. No. There's only one teacher, Zulula 100. That's the message. That's the teaching we are sharing. There's only one truth, one authentic Bible, Bibèl, Galatambali. That's the instrument of deliverance, of liberation. You will know the truth, and the truth shall set you free. All glory be to Loba, the only and unique Creator.